here on 9 Mile Creek Parkway in Bloomington with my cedar strip Velomobile, and I'm going to do a little bit of aerodynamic testing today. I want to see, yes, of course you're staring at me. I want to see just how aerodynamic I really am. I have recently purchased a set of Favaro Asioma Duo power meter pedals, and now I can do a little experimenting and see just how many watts does it take to maintain specific speeds. And I'm going to do 3 sets of 3 runs. It's about a half-mile stretch that I have here that's fairly low traffic and relatively flat, at least as flat as anything gets in this area. And I'm going to start with 3 runs with some Coroplast wheel covers that I'd made sort of as a template a while back. They're nothing fancy. In fact, they're really quite awful looking. They look like that. Nothing very fancy, but just to get an idea of, do they make a difference versus naked wheels. And then I'll take those off and I'll do 3 more runs without the covers, and then I'll do 3 runs with my race hood that I made to see what difference things make. This won't be the most incredibly scientific test. I actually recorded this intro once before, but the 256 gigabyte SD card in my GoPro kind of flaked out on me, and so just to be safe, I'm doing the intro again. And the first lap ended up being faster than I anticipated. I thought I'd cruise around 18 miles an hour, and instead I'm hitting more like 21. So I'm going to adjust my expectations for that, and then once I'm done freezing, it's about somewhere in the upper 40s Fahrenheit today, so not exactly warm. But once I finish these, I will head home and pull up the data and see what I get for results. Let's go! That's the end of the first lap. Now we're going to head back for run number 2. Alright, so now it's time to remove the wheel covers and then do 3 runs without them, and then finally I can get the race hood back on because it is cold out here. Alright, I got the wheel covers off. That took way less time than it did to put them on. They were just zip tied on with 8 small zip ties. And it was just a snip, snip, snip. So I've got those off, and as you can see, I've put a little bit warmer coat on here. I'll get my coat off, hop back in, 3 rounds, no wheel covers, and then over there is my race hood. Hopefully nobody thinks it's trash. Trash day was yesterday, so I'm probably okay. So let's hop back in the Velomobile and let's go for another round. No wheel cover test time! That was interesting. I felt like I couldn't maintain my speed quite as well as the first set of runs, especially when I got to that little uphill bit. It's also possible that I'm just getting a little tired compared to the first 3 runs. So that concludes the end of the no wheel cover runs. I don't know if I noticed any difference or not. The first time through I thought I did, but I think my legs had a little rest there for a moment out in the cold air, and I think they probably were just a little bit tired. I have 3 runs left now, and those are with the race hood, which is sitting down here. It's sort of a copy of the DF race hood. I'm not sure that was the best choice. I may end up making another one that's more like the WA race hood, so I've got a cockpit cover and I can, remove the hood more easily. And this design, when it rains, water just comes in the windows on the side, and I don't really like that. So anyway, 3 runs left, and then I'll go home and collate the data, and I might have to break down and also vacuum my carpet, but it'll take a little bit to upload things anyway, so maybe I'll do that while I upload. So, last 3 runs. Last set of runs. Let's see what happens with the race hood. the end. Now back to the house. So I'm back home now, and I have no idea what the results are going to be. I'll find out when I get on the computer and I pull them up. I didn't have my Garmin set up to have all the data I really needed on one screen, so I'll have to do some tweaks with that. But my takeaway from this is I don't normally sprint up to speed quite that quickly, and actually once the initial sprint is over, it's really easy to maintain speed. I thought I was going to do an average of 17 miles an hour, and once I did a test run, I discovered it was actually quite easy to go around 21. So that was I guess an interesting takeaway. My instincts are that I have to do some tweaks on the race hood. It doesn't fit quite as tight as it should, and I'm wondering if that might be disrupting the airflow a little bit too much, because I didn't feel like it made a big difference. If you watch Saki's videos, he could feel the difference once he put the race hood on, and I didn't really feel anything. The wheel covers might make a difference, so I'll be really curious to see whether there's a notable wattage difference there. But other than that, let's head inside and let's see what kind of data we pull. Alright, I finally got the results uploaded from my Garmin Edge to Garmin Connect. I was able to pull the lap information and collate that into a spreadsheet. One thing I forgot though is I had the Asioma Duos mounted on 170 cranks on my trainer bike down in the basement to use with Swift, and I kind of sort of forgot to reset the crank length to 155 when I mounted them in the Velo. I thought about it earlier in the day, and then I was busy with so many things that I just totally spaced on that. According to what I'm reading online, the readings are going to be off by just a hair under 10%, and that equates to probably on average 15 to 20 watts. So the numbers that I've got here, you want to think about 15 to 20 watts lower, which means that I'm getting pretty good speeds for what I've got here. So here's the numbers that I've got. These are the first 3 runs. You can see they're running around 170 watts. This is with the Coroplast wheel covers that I had kind of sitting around. The average on that came out to 172, so we're going to say that, you know, the wattage is probably somewhere down around, probably around 150, upper 140s, and that's kind of in keeping with what I get for wattage in Zwift when I'm riding on my trainer bike and really going for it. Second ride, the wattages, the first one is kind of an outlier. I'm not sure what happened with that one. If maybe it took me too long to build up speed at the beginning and I was still really pedaling hard initially. But otherwise, the other values are very similar to what I got on the first ride. And so I don't think that having wheel covers on, at least coroplast ones, it doesn't seem to really make any difference. And there's the averages again. The time is very similar, and then the watts again are a little bit different because of that one strange outlier there at the beginning. And then the last ride was with my home-built race hood, and this one is where the wattages are a little disappointing. The last one is a little higher wattage, and I'm not sure what caused that. The time is actually a little bit longer, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. But even then, the wattages, comparing to the other ones, it's really not that much lower. In Selke's video, his race hood made a significant difference in his wattage, and mine definitely is not. I know my race hood doesn't sit quite flush with the sides of the Velo. The race hood that I built is based off the DF race hood. So it's got the two windows on the side, and it's one layer of 4-ounce fiberglass wrapped around some 1/4-inch foam, and that was on a sort of a frame that I came up with. It doesn't sit completely flush because the thickness of the material is a little thicker than the cedar strips. So it could be that that's disturbing the airflow just enough to kind of offset the advantage of having the manhole covered. And I was thinking that I'd kind of like to build a different hood anyway, one that's a little bit more similar to the wah design, so that I could have the manhole cover, or I could have the manhole cover with the actual hood, and also I could just have neither. So I may this winter work on building up a mold and making a carbon fiber hood off of that. But anyway, it's definitely interesting to take a look at the values, and I think knowing now that the wattage was overstated, which it did seem odd that I was suddenly that strong of a rider when I don't normally do much more than, well, my FTP is 130, so these were definitely really large values compared to what I was expecting. So knowing that it was overstated, I'm not completely sure how it compares to other Velomobiles, but I'd be interested in hearing what others have to say. Leave a comment below. Are these values what you expected? Are they close to what you would get it in your Velomobile if you were averaging 21.5 miles an hour on the flats? Do you have thoughts for what I could do to improve my race hood? Have you tested wheel covers and found that carbon fiber ones were better? I'd be interested in knowing those things. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have ideas for future videos, certainly let me know.